even. Replacing Cafe, of course, as their permanent Zarya player, and hit scan DPS if they actually need it. So practicing on multiple comps when you've only just been integrated into the team fairly early on, late on, does seem like it's a bit unbeneficial. You might as well stick to the 3-3, which you've been playing for a whole time.
Yeah, it's also interesting to note that Younger Beautiful currently rolling 2 hit scan DPS because Flippy's best known for his Widowmaker, another flick aim-based hero, sort of like from the Kree or the Ashe. He's very talented at those, but not having too much chance to play them in previous times. Flippy for now is going to be hovering for Sombra, but doesn't like everyone's going to be moving back to spawn. Crandop going to swap over onto the Reinhardt, and when we talk about Crandop, we talked about how Jonah had sort of come into this roster in the middle of the season. It's quite hard for a Reinhardt to try and deal with a new Zarya style, and it can very much mess with the flow of a main tank, and that may see Crandop losing out on a couple of these duels.
Well, Happy is going to pay them a visit rather early on. Was holding the high ground so he can get a lot of micro-missile damage. You can see his ult charge just ticking up rather readily as soon as that does come out. And Jofi's doing something rather cheeky as well. Just waiting for them to come up the stairs if they do decide to do it, and then boot someone off, and then you can isolate, surround them, and kill them off fairly quickly. Happy
scattered out the engagement. You can see Jofi's also up above and got a glimpse of his silhouette there. We'll be returning down to below ground as we will see Younger Beautiful go straight onto my point.
Numlock just like body slammed on top of Huni and Flippy. Crandop ended up going down as well. I'm 99% sure he got those 2 kills before he actually landed.
And Numlocked, he W-locked. He just couldn't stop going forward. Just swing through. He's basically got himself an Earth Shadow now. He will need to be picked up by Jofi to get himself back. Younger Beautiful may have a slight... oh no, they won't have a slight advantage because of course Danny's just been executed, lightly booped off into the greater crevices of the moon.
I wouldn't really want to... large Reinhardt just jumping on my head. I'm not going to lie, that's exactly what
Especially with a hammer.
Yeah, he's got himself a shadow fairly early on. Crandop obviously very far behind, hasn't had that sort of luxury of an engagement just yet.
This could mean that Younger Beautiful, as they rotate in, could be very vulnerable to a shadow from behind if Crandop can't get behind in time. It is going to be an early shadow. Honey's down.
Huni's already dead. Woo. Young Savage is going to go down as well. Can he find a pit? No, he cannot. But it's a nice little boot there from Jofi. It's going to make sure Jonah does end up going down as well. No reset for you. That's more ult charge for us. As they go once more, they go again. Suna almost has that grab now. Bok obviously always has that transcendence.
Jofi though, 50%. Come on, Jofi. Let the side down. It's a very slow generation of the sound.
Yeah, what is going on there? It's because the fights end so quickly.
Yeah, you can't get those sound blasts out.
Exactly.
Bucket. Looking for the orbs, will try and get himself a Transcendence, which is now ready. Half of the time bank for Young and Beautiful has drained away, as they are going to be moving up the stairs, looking for an engagement. They are going to get it.
You can see there, you look, Danny is being tracked here completely. Suna can use the right click just to throw these down the corridor. Everybody's all grouped up in one, so it's a whole lot of damage. You could see he was actually tracking Danny there the whole time. He was kind of flicking back to actually look at him. As soon as that defense matrix does fall, it has a 2-second cooldown now rather than 1 second in the previous patch.
And Danny did get very aggressive. And this is a risky run when you have a lot of highly skilled players in a team that's currently floundering a little bit. You do look for people trying to make those individual plays, and that seemed to be like what Danny was doing, trying to go for a couple of boots, trying to get some displacement, trying to make his own individual play count for so much in the team. Young and Beautiful going to be moving in with 5 ultimates available to themselves. Suna can always strike first here.
He just killed Young Savage just right-clicking. Joki's going to go down as well. Shadow is going to hit the floor. That Graviton Surge is going to come in. They're going to survive for the time being, but look at that bomb. Perfectly placed by Happy Cool. Right under them. That grab pinned them to almost the ceiling. They were elevated off the ground. There's no way Crandop could actually block that one. They did manage to kill Jofi, but he is Lucio, so he's going to get back to the team rather quickly. 30 seconds now remain for Young and Beautiful to try and get some percentage on point.
Heavy investment there from Young and Beautiful. We're going to have the Graviton Surge available. Bucket's going to try and answer it, of course, with the Transcendence. Question is, will Young and Beautiful be able to focus on one hero enough to deal with 300 plus DPS required to get through the healing of Transcendence?
He's going pretty low already. Unlocked yet again. This is twice he's done this. A Graviton Surge will come out. Jonah's going to throw it against the wall so they're all pinned, but that Shadow's going to connect. Crandop ends up going down, a couple of seconds now remaining. Both beats have been thrown in as well, but Young and Beautiful do not have the manpower necessary to put themselves on this point. Hurricane is just going to clean them up. Numlock just manhandling Young and Beautiful right now. He dropped down, instant swing on 4 people. Managed to clip someone's face, and they were as good as dead. Hurricane are going to hold on first. That's the draw, and that does mean the series win goes over to them. They are 5-0 now.
And looking at how this is likely going to pan out, Jules, they are going to claim our #1 seed in the standings as well, because they'll overtake Angry Titans, who are currently only a couple maps ahead of them with a sort of a series in hand, which is now going to be caught up to, of course, because British Hurricane will have played after we commence the next 2 maps. Well, next map and a half, I guess. British Hurricane going to be looking for that first take. Once again, Young and Beautiful can go for the draw. And the draw they did achieve previously was also on Assault, and it was a first-point hold, I do believe, on Hanamura. So they do have it in them to make that work. We'll have to see if they bring out an inventive composition to try and flummox British Hurricane and the minds behind them. But it looks like British Hurricane right now are executing on plans perfectly. And when it comes to execution, I always try and bring attention to the backroom staff. And backroom staff looking pretty good for British Hurricane at the moment. Of course, they have picked up Nox, who was shrouded in secrecy for a while.
I actually played with him in queue today.
Really?
Yeah, we lost.
Was he toxic?
No. Was he toxic? No.
I've got to ask that about every known player.
Were they toxic?
I need to know who's toxic and who's not.
No. We did lose, though. I'm sorry, Nox. My bad, dude.
I have no doubts it was your bad.
Yeah, it probably was. They were running a lot of DPS, man. I just kept getting my head clicked. I can't remember what I was playing. I think I was doing with Nozarino, the German Owlcaster. And we did end up losing, so that kind of sucks.
Nozarino also does a broadcast of Contenders Europe.
He does indeed.
For those of you who are native German speakers. He is a busy man.
He's a busy man.
He's a talented caster as well.
Yeah,
love me, Nose. Well, British Hurricane going to be loving the 3-3 for now. Young and Beautiful the same on the defense. Will they be able to drop down with as much aggression as we saw from Numrox? Just standing still, catch a little bit of hope to give the charge if it's required over to Suna. Wants to be ready upon the first engagement to deal massive damage with those mortars. You can see him arcing them in there. Need to be eaten potentially by Danny to mitigate the potential for building up rather quickly.
Numlock doesn't want the rest of his team to suffer the same fate that he put Young and Beautiful through a second ago. They're going to cower in the small room just to, for a moment, waiting for that speed boost to come off cooldown again.
Likely they can play out of this room and use the Mega Health Pack to their advantage, try and bait in Young and Beautiful. Instead, they're just going to go straight through to the point.
Here comes Crandop. There we go. That's what we wanted to see. Beautiful boot, though, on Jonah. He didn't actually touch the ground before he ended up going down. Flippy is also going to fall, and now Numlock could just swing on away. Block and Numlock going to find a couple of kills. That is it. British Hurricane, in a blink of an eye, managed to secure Horizon. 3-0 in the series and the series win.
Beautiful bit of juggling Jonah right there. Sounds like a really Oscar Beatty film, juggling Jonah. They got the boop, then of course they got the whip shot as well. Dead before he touched the ground. Unfortunately, low gravity of the moon can be a little bit of a hindrance to those flying Zayas. And that, of course, has been a clean claiming of the series by British Hurricane, who will likely secure that first place seed unless somehow Young and Beautiful can take their first map win as we go to Junkertown.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We're going to jump to a short break, guys. Do not go anywhere. Junkertown coming up soon. Hey guys, welcome back. This is Hurricane versus Young and Beautiful. Right now, Hurricane are sitting a nice clean 3-0 over Young and Beautiful. However, Young and Beautiful still have a chance to claim their first map of Contenders. It's going to be Junkertown for the final map in this series.
We'll not be claiming a series, however, Jaws, which means they will be 0-5, unfortunately, sort of like the diametric opposite of British Hurricane. But every match they have here on the Overwatch Contenders channel and our localized distributors of the other languages is an advertisement to other teams who may be trying to get a spot in Contenders trials through our open division, or maybe they will be trying to recruit new talent for Contenders Season 2, and this is one of the greatest opportunities they have to advertise their individual skill, and especially when you're trying to advertise for a new meta, Junkertown's one of the best places to do it.
Oh yes, it is. New meta looks to be not the end of 3-3, but it looks a little less powerful, just because a lot of DPS characters have been
sort of like
buffed.
the decline and fall of the Roman Empire. We're getting towards Book 3.
I know you've been reading the Roman books as well.
Yeah, man. I'm deeply studying the ancient history at the moment.
You know where all my Roman knowledge came from? Rome Total War. Yeah, I know. I didn't. Okay, so what are they? I didn't study Romans in school.
The only strategy games I play are Blizzard games, like Warcraft 3, coming soon to a remaster near you.
Oh, I'm
very excited.
Genuinely cannot wait.
I played that so much when I was a kid.
Plus, I'm not going to shield too much, but like you get a mount in WoW that chucks.
Stop shilling! Stop shilling!
No, but it chucks critters. It's like the little like rabbits and stuff, and the squirrels that are on the ground. You wheel past them, it throws them. It's a catapult.
Wow.
It's actually really sweet.
If only it was a trebuchet, it'd be much better.
True.
It's one for my trebuchet memers out there.
Well, like you said, this is the best place to advertise themselves, right? Because the patch is going to change a whole lot of things. The patch that playoff is going to be played on as well, just to make you guys aware, which means Batista is also available, which is going to be fairly exciting, moving on to the later weeks. And Hurricane are going to be playing on that patch, and it does beg the question what kind of comps are being run right now. I mean, it's going to be all up in the air, but you mentioned Junkertown's probably the best way to show off DPS picks, so we'll see if Young and Beautiful want to run out with this comp. Triple DPS with Cran Dot on the Orisa.
Well, speaking of running out, British Hurricane going to be running right to the door, not going to be trying to give away any movement here on the payload. Usual 3-3. I'm surprised Young and Beautiful don't actually have a Bastion here to try and dislodge the greater shield power. It has worked out quite nicely for people like Urki and Spectral on the Angry Titans.
Yeah, you do a whole lot of damage very fast. Dan is fairly low as well, and actually you can see Numlocked in that room with 3 people. Doesn't really want to be there. Crowdop finding 2 kills as Havical does get demexed. Now Bot just dying on the payload. The rest of them dying around the same time. Not too bad at all. Doesn't mean you can get back to the cart very quickly. And make at least 2 fights out of this first one.
Yeah, some great mental fortitude there from Young and Beautiful. They hadn't won a fight the entire series. But map 4, this is where they start. They're going to have to make a statement here. Like we said, they're advertising themselves to potentially other teams, or to try and turn around their current fortunes for Contenders trials at the end of the season.
Well, 1 kill turns into 1 team fight win, and then turns into a map win, potentially. So we'll see if they can grab it. Crandop earning himself a shot fairly early on. Of course, he was trapped in there in that small room with Numlocked. They're going to rotate around once more, maybe through this mega health pack room. Oh no, they're just going to take the high ground instead.
Oh, that's not it. Assault to the Chief.
Shadow not going quite as planned by Crandop. Ends up laying it down on the high ground. Didn't afflict anybody, not even near the payload. They're still going to be able to contest. Numlocked lays 4 people on his back, though. That's the Shadow he was after. The rest of them are going to get cleaned up fairly easily. And up falling, and Happy Cool finds himself a nice little double kill.
Allow me to show you how it's done, says Numlocked after seeing Crandop shatter a good load of empty space. And now British Hurricane are going to be sitting stalwart once again on the defense. The iron wall that stands before Young and Beautiful, can they throw enough daisies and flowers at it to make it crumble? Potentially it'll be overtaken by vegetation and other plant life. Go down over time. Attrition, maybe. British Hurricane for now, though. They're not committing too much. They're waiting for Young and Beautiful to make their first move, and then they will try and out-rotate them.
I just wonder how there's plants still on this map, going to be honest. So many wars have taken place, or battles, I should say. Numlock going extremely low. They're going to be able to boop him off. The Graviton Surge actually is going to get thrown out as well. Everybody's trapped inside. That self-destruct is going to be used on British Hurricane's Graviton Surge to make sure no one can actually come inside it, to make sure they can actually get away safely.
I believe in that case, Zander was actually trying to use his self-destruct, but he got grabbed at the same time, so he cancelled the boosters. And he ended up using it anyway. It was a good defensive measure, and once again, Young and Beautiful have won another team fight. So it looks like they may well be able to take the first point here of Junkertown. Does like the cart has enough room here to allow British Hurricane a salty run back to try and get the defense at the end of this point, and you are so far away from the attacker spawn.
Yeah, Crandop actually has the Shadow online. Numlock's actually not too far away, and they both have beats also. No one else really near ultimates at this current time. It's all about Numlock landing the bigger Shadow at this point for British Hurricane, but they're going to open up with a beat. Another beat comes through from Hurricane also to make sure they survive on the fight, on the payload a little bit longer. The Shadow hits the ground.
Shadow.
Once again, Numlock finding more than just a couple. All 4 people laid on their backs. Flippy is going to go down as well. Not 4 meters away from the first checkpoint. Young and Beautiful have 50 seconds to do it in. They could still do it, however, as Crandop did use the Shadow, but they still have that rally to back them up. Plus, Jonah very close to that grab.
To quote our handsome friend Achilles, locking him up is exactly what Numlock does. He likes to use that term for crowd control, and he's certainly doing that, getting huge value out of all of these Earth Shadows. Young and Beautiful now in dire straits, potentially 30 seconds remain. They've got a couple of team fight wins to their name, couple of ults potentially as well. If Jonah can hit a couple of those mortars, they are going to be moving straight into British Hurricane. There's the rally from Flippy.
Flippy went solo as well. Suna has to grab, Happy Call has the bomb. They could just throw it on in. Giganti combo straight up in the air. No boots available, and a shield just get destroyed on Crandop's side, so he's going to have to be a little bit more passively. Another grab's thrown out, this time by Jonah. Jonah's going to fall, but that big self-destruct isn't quite big enough just yet. A Transcendence from bot to keep everybody alive, but now Huni has the Transcendence advantage, so healing in favor of Young and Beautiful right now, and they're able to just lay down their shields and lay down the damage as Bok ends up going down.
Suna here going to be brawling out though, can use that left click to deal a huge amount of damage. Crandop's going to have the shield available. And now British Hurricane, they've got to look to go onto the cart jaws.
Jones on the Tracer to try and get back ASAP. Huni caught in the back line, but receives a beat to save his life at the time. Suna's extremely close to a Graviton Surge, only 10% away. Crandop ends up going down, and Happy Call throws in the self-destruct. Beautiful placement, kills off Young Savage. A grab on Huni in the back line. It was a solo one, but there weren't many people left. Overtime depletes, and British Hurricane are going to be able to hold Young and Beautiful just before first.
Not going to be allowed to contribute to that fight, I'm afraid, Huni. It was a valiant attempt there by Young and Beautiful, getting almost 2.5 fight wins and getting quite a bit of distance on that cart, 86.5 meters. They are actually in for one of the first times this series, a winnable scenario. Because, of course, before, they didn't capture any percentage on the first points of our hybrid and assault maps. However, here on Escort, they have got a significant amount of distance, a respectable amount of distance on the first point here of Junkertown, and you can put up very stalwart defenses, very much take advantage of a couple of narrow choke points, such as going under the bridge, or take advantage of some long sight lines. And as we noted, we aren't actually seeing Sparker from British Hurricane. They may just be deciding to run this 3-3 because they might not want to leak any strats that they could show for the playoffs, where you would see potentially a little bit more of this DPS-oriented composition.
Yeah, it is on a new patch though, but you can imagine... Yeah.
Don't know if British Hurricane will stick with that, but Young and Beautiful, they're showing off DPS.
Oh yes, they are. Jonah on the Widow. Flippy is on the hands though. Double sniper with Crandop on the Orisa. Got the Diva for the defense as well. Now, Jonah can sit so far back. We've already seen Spectral just pop off on the Widowmaker. Just sits himself up on that water tank, sorry. And he should be more than safe. Although you can play fairly aggressively to start off with, really. There's a lot of ground that needs to be covered.
Definitely need water coolers out in the Australian outback.
Yeah, that's true.
Doubt it stays cold for long.
Man, Reinhardt must be so boiling in his
Absolutely,
neck.
Definitely. He has a line towards that effect in Oasis as well, where, of course, quite a warm climate. We'll have to see if the heat will be brought, though, by Young and Beautiful. Are going to be putting down a lot of pressure onto the shield of Numlock using those Storm Arrows.
Oh, British Hurricane straight back to spawn.
They see the challenge. They will meet it with the Bastion. The
double shield?
Oh, never mind.
Nice pick.
See you later.
Double shield, in fact. They're going to form a small egg capsule around Suna and protect him on his travels.
The bird is in the air. The egg has going. The egg is going to be delivered eventually by Numlock and Daneb with their combined shield prowess. Suna is going to be the main DPS here. 450 DPS you can achieve in that sentry mode if you don't have a damage boost.
Also, good luck killing him, right? I mean, Flippy needs to earn a Dragon Strike in order to really penetrate those shields. Jonah's going to do a whole lot of damage to them, but the shield uptime for Orisa is so great. Danny gets pulled off the side as they do march around the first corner.
Well, the Orisa shield will mathematically fall in 2 seconds. Sustained fire from that Bastion will not last long at all.
Well, there you go. Defense Matrix eating all of it, and Grandop instantly goes down. Can anybody kill Suna?
Just
I'm not sure
they
can.
guys.
Flippy's going to fall as well. Danny tried to, just grasping at straws at this point. Crandop does get resurrected, but almost instantly brought down again. Young and Beautiful get Team White. British Hurricane not losing a single person on the offense this time around, end up securing the map and the series 4-0.
That's an effing chat from me, boys. Young and Beautiful not looking too powerful here, but to be expected, really. British Hurricane now going to be claiming the #1 seed, showing that they are potentially the big dogs in our group of teams. 5-0 with a beautiful map score to go alongside it as well. They are very much in a position where they're looking for that #1 seed for playoffs, so they can get potentially a bye in the first round.
They can. Angry Titans will be fighting for them with them for that spot, of course. We've got another couple of weeks to go, yeah, of course. So it might all change later down the line. We'll have to wait and see. But it looks almost mathematically impossible at this point for Young and Beautiful to make it. However, like you mentioned before, it's a good selling point to a lot of teams that are coming through trials. A lot of these players have been around the scene a long time. Flippy especially. Like, he was kept on the bench, it felt like, for so long back in the... Oh, no, sorry, that was Leaf back on Eagle Gaming. Flippy just... a beautiful talent that really needs a nice home going into next season, it seems.
Yeah, he's a beautiful hit-scan talent as well, so I'd love to see what he can do with the Ash or potentially with a Sombra. I'd love to see if those will be a great asset. And of course, when he was a part of Eagle Gaming during their very effective runs, you've got to think that he's got to be a great strategist, right? Because when you're sitting on the bench, you aren't just not playing, you are contributing quite actively to your team. Yeah,
that you are. Here you go, here's the solo grab onto... Yeah, you just had to show that one off. I mean, might as well. Bok on the Tracer, though. Big fan.
And of course, Bok having good hit scan aim, as we've noticed many times with the Anna, will actually be a huge boon to him if he is going to be playing on the Batiste in future metas, because of course you do also have the pulse fire rifle, which of course will benefit a lot if you can hit those headshots, lay down a lot more DPS, and of course means that you can get that amplification matrix all the more quickly.
Yeah, I love it. Something to counter fire as well if you're not Ana, for example.
Bucket counters Ana anyway.
Well, that is true, yeah. Bucket's probably one of the scariest Anas in EU. Hurricane, however, now sitting at the top of the table over Angry Titans. We're going to go to a quick interview, though, with British Hurricane. See who we got on the line. Of course, it's Danny this time around. How's it going, man?
Hello, I'm going fine,
Good stuff. Now, that is a pretty impressive scoreline coming off the series today, plus obviously number ones in the standings as well. Who are you actually scared of this season?
I mean, we have the two, if just we're looking at the results, we have the two big ones left. So, the Giganti and Angry Titans. But mostly I'd say Giganti, but I think they're both very equal teams. But okay. I think we should, I believe in ourselves. I think we should be able to take it, no problem.
No problems. But speaking of maybe tiny little problems, you've been removed from your signature hero, and we've been discussing the new patch between us. So since you guys are pretty much locked in now for the playoffs, how are you feeling about the Doomfist changes, the reduced cooldowns? Do you think he's powerful enough for us to see the Danner Doomfist we want to see so badly?
They're looking good, but it's all about the meta. I think if he fits into team comp, then I think he will be fine. I think it's good, but it just matters who you play against or what the enemy team is.
Of course, so we'll I can imagine you're going to see yourself in the finals, but who else can you imagine right now? Just looking at the teams and playing obviously against a couple of them will meet you there.
I'd imagine Giganti or Angry Titans. It's so hard to say which one of them. I think they're very equal teams. One of them, but it's edging towards Giganti for me, I think.
If you had to say one person on your team right now that's just actually popping off, that's going to be pretty scary on the new patch, apart from yourself, of course, that'd be cheating. Who would you say?
It's so hard on new patch. I mean, we'll see. Sparker is doing his stuff on DPS.
That's
clean.
True.
I don't know.
So one final question then. Are we going to see Batiste? Do you think he's viable currently on the live patch?
I mean, it's been said bunker comps is what he's good at, but we've yet to really explore the meta, so it's really hard to say.
Well, thank you very much for the interview, dude, and good luck in your next games in future weeks. Hopefully we'll hear from you soon.
Thank you.
All right, feeling pretty confident going into the later weeks. I can imagine he would be, considering obviously the scoreline that they've acquired.
It's going to be a tough ride, though, and they have been brought to the brink by multiple teams, including Morning Stars and, of course, also Eternal Academy, their sister team. Well, sort of like sister. They're both academy teams, of course, for Para Eternal and Spitfire, respectively. Have to see if they'll be able to hold their own against Angry Titans and Giganti. Right now, Angry Titans looking the stronger of the two, of course, thanks to their victory last week over Team Giganti, our previous winners for Season 3.
Well, we're going to jump to a quick break, guys. Do not go anywhere. We got match number 2 coming up a little bit later on.